What's up? What is going on? Just trying to figure this nutrients level out. Whoever's all here. Hopefully, we won't have a problem with this fish tank in less than a few weeks. I just feel like chatting for a little while. See who's out. Who wants to talk about nutrients? Petso Tick. You have a reef tank, buddy? Yeah, you can have problems with your freshwater phosphates and nitrates in freshwater just as well as reef tanks. So, yes, I am, Beck. Yes, I am. They are nitrates aren't so bad. It's my phosphates that are out of line. My nitrates are about 10, 15. I'd say 15, but my nitrates are just, or my phosphates, I'm sorry, are just out of whack. And I'm running Fosgard. I'm going to be running GFO in another reactor. I'm running bio pellets, and I'm also dosing Nopox. Um, so I'm hoping I can get this resolved here. And the only reason why I'm running everything is because I've been running Nopox for over 2 weeks and it hasn't came down. I added Fosgard 4 days ago, still isn't coming down. So I am going to my BRS reactor. I have two of those filled with Fosgard. I'm going to give it a couple days and hopefully it'll come down. Yeah, I'm not dosing it every day. Um, so I'm trying to not have an outbreak. So what I'm doing is I have probably 340 gallons of water and I'm doing the 30 mLs every other day. I do run 2 skimmers. I do run 2 skimmers right now, and, we'll see what happens. That's all I can do. So, I'm taking it slow, taking it slow. What's going on, buddy?
What's happening, bud? Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Okay. So you got high levels in your
yeah.
tank.
Hold on one second. I gotta turn my volume up. My, oh, it is all the way up.
Let's see. Make sure I'm not turned down.
No, yeah, you're good. I can hear you
Okay.
now. Yeah.
Yeah, I moved my mic a little closer.
Yeah, I'm having a little phosphate area problem, or not area, but just I don't know what. I don't know. I don't have a clue. I mean,
Have you cut back feeding?
yeah, now I have. Yeah, I've cut it. My fish are looking at me like I'm depriving them. They're like sitting. They're all up front, just swimming back and forth like anytime now, Dad.
I know with my last tank that helped a lot. What
So what I did was I turned back on my bio pellets. Well, what I did to start this whole thing was I was trying to compensate my chalices, to put a little bit of nutrients into the water. So I stopped the bio pellets altogether, dumped them, just completely took it offline. Um, and then I started to turn the skimmer off and leave it off for a couple days here and there, or whatever, just periodically. And then out of nowhere, it just um, started skyrocketing. It was like a freight train, you know what I mean? Like, so is that all my once I really noticed them being high, there was nothing I it was already too late. It had to like it's like a train, it takes forever for it to slow down. So now what I'm trying to do is I put everything back online. I'm running Nopox, Fosguard, but I'm doing it slow though.
yeah.
In hopes that it'll eventually start to gradually come down, you know?
Yeah, I mean that Fosguard worked wonders for me. What I did, I ran the dosage that was recommended for my tanks, like I had a 75. So I would put whatever it was, 2/3 of a cup for a 75, but I'd run it for 8 days. It's used up in 4. That way it wasn't change it out every 4 days and drop it too fast. I kind of did it in steps. I'd let it run, leave it in there for 8 days, then change it.
Yeah, I did the first one, I did 4 days and I just changed it and it didn't, I got a Hannah checker and it's when it's flashing 200 for low, I got the lower one. They
Yeah.
said, they said dilute it. So what I did was I took 50% out, put it in a 5 ml vial, and then filled the rest up with RODI water. Actually, I did it. You know what? I actually did that wrong. I actually used tank water. So maybe my things aren't as high as I think they are. I
I
just
don't
call.
see. I don't have the ultra. That's the ultra low range, right?
Yeah.
Phosphorus checker.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. See, I have the low range phosphate, so it automatically gives me a phosphate reading.
Yeah, I got the low phosphorus. Yeah, so you got to times it by 3 and then divide
Yeah.
it by 1,000. But you know what I did was I didn't use. They said to use RODI water. So what you do is you'll 50% and then put RODI water in there. And
Yeah, see,
then
that low range one is straight tank water.
yeah, so that's what I did. I left the tank.
Hmm.
I used my tank water, but then when I diluted it, basically I'm adding more phosphates to it. So it's like I needed to dilute the 50% that was in the vial. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I need to reiterate that. So maybe I'm only I bought it, paid $50 for it, and I got one package of testing left because I've been trying to test this thing to get it down, but it ain't working.
Yeah. Becky pointed out a good point that everything's just out of whack, probably because you dropped the bio pellets.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I mean that was part of it, and then me keeping the skimmer off to
Yeah.
try to, it was only for like a day, and then I would turn it back on, and then a day and turn it back on. So it was
Yeah.
just
It's just a lot of changes at one time because you were trying to bring your levels up a little bit, right?
yeah, which they
Yes.
were
I may have
probably
to start
fine.
doing that.
Yeah, which they were probably fine, but my chalices just weren't having it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I tried to compensate one thing, but you know what? It's a learning experience.
Oh, yeah.
Everything is still alive except for a few things. Like I mean, I didn't lose the whole colony, but I had a few things that started to go south. But I just clipped it and divided it all up, and just gonna keep doing that and in hopes that it'll you know be
Have you
happy.
tried dosing any bacteria?
You know what? I was thinking of doing that because the no-pox is an actual bacteria. I mean, it basically turns your nitrates and phosphates into nitrogen gas.
Yeah, it's got a carbon source and a bacteria in it, so it's dosing carbon in the bacteria to feed it, right?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, that stuff stinks, man. You could
Hmm.
blow up a house with that. Yeah. So that's. But I was thinking about getting like Microbac 7 or Dr. Tim's
Yeah, that's what
something.
I dose the Bacter 7 once a week. And then I dose 460 sludge remover once a month.
And it knocked it down, and you're all good.
Oh yeah, I've tested today. I'm running undetectable phosphates and undetectable nitrates.
Right. Okay.
I'm probably too low, if anything. I mean, I know I have some nitrates and phosphates in here because I get a little bit of film algae, and it has a little bit of hair that grows on it, on the glass.
Right. Right.
But it's not detectable because it's getting a little bit of algae that's growing is sucking it up. And it's not like I don't feed this tank, but I have an overrated skimmer for it.
Right. You know what I used to do when I had my 120? I used to dip dose Microbacker 7. And you know what? The funny thing is, I don't know why I stepped away from it, but I used to do that
Yeah.
religiously. And if I look back on my videos, I'm sure I mentioned that I used to dose it at least once a week, even if it was just a
Hmm.
capful, just to
Yep.
put that new bacteria in there, just in case if any of them got died off or.
Exactly. And that's why I started doing it from talking with um Cruz and Nick, Aquarium Cabinet Solutions. Because
Oh yeah,
they're
yeah.
they're both way into it, especially Cruz.
Yeah,
I mean,
Cruz
he
is right around the corner for me.
does he.
Yeah,
And so, they brought up the
yeah.
point of, a lot of people don't add bacteria, but your bacteria strains die, this and
It's just
that.
like
Then you
anything,
get to
they get
where,
old or yeah. I mean, it's just like anything.
hmm hmm
Yeah, that's why that's why you can take probiotics to replenish your body with them.
exactly.
So I wouldn't, you know what? I didn't even think that because that Microbac 7 actually makes your water clearer too, almost. You know what I mean? It states it. I remember when you dose it, your tank will look a little bit more crystal.
Hmm.
But yeah, I'm having a little problem, but I just figured.
So that's my issue, is trying to get this tank clear. But it's not algae or anything like that. It's this damn fish that I have.
Right, yeah. I have the same problem right now. I bought a red chorus wrasse, and the damn thing is
Mm-hmm.
constantly. He's big too. He's probably 5 inches,
Mm-hmm.
but he's constantly like stirring up the gravel. He picks up baby pieces of rubble and throws them around. I mean, he's constantly just deteriorating everything. You know, just
Yeah.
making
See,
a
I've got a
mess.
what is it? A sleeper banded goby, bullet goby, and so he's like a diamond goby where he sifts the sand. But diamond goby sits on the bottom and sifts sand. This guy doesn't. He picks a mouthful up, swims 6 inches off the bottom, and then filters it.
Right.
So eventually, it'll get to where all the small particles are filtered out. But
You know what I was thinking? Maybe even getting one of those for the time being, one of those diamond gobies, just to siphon my sand to get any whatever's in there. You know what I mean? Get it in the water
man,
column and get my skimmers to start pulling it.
if you can get you a sleeper banded goby, he will process more sand than a diamond goby will. That's all he does all day.
Hey, K Reef, or K Town, I'm sorry. My phosphates, I think I messed up with doing the test. It was at 200 flashing, but you're supposed to dilute it. So using 50% of the solution that was in there and put RODI water in it, and I ended up putting tank water in there. So I I honestly need to retest it. You know what? I can do it right now. I'll do it. Well, I was gonna go buy more test kits anyways, but I'll show you guys so you guys don't think I'm like crazy.
Yeah, it may not be as bad as you thought. Well, so if it's 200, what does that work out to? 0.6?
Yeah, 0.6. But
Yeah.
then they said to dilute that so you get a number. So whatever that next number is, then you double that. So I can't use. I got to use RODI water and dilute the phosphates that you know what I mean. So hold
Mm-hmm.
on 1 second. Let me put me back on the thingy here.
Well, that's another thing that we worked out because I'd work in petrochemical, and I used to work at a place where I had to do all of our testing on our drilling fluids, and I was arguing with O about that ultra low range kit. Yeah, if you're trying to keep it specifically at like zero point 0.2, then yeah, it matters. But for general person, he kept saying it's more accurate. It's more accurate. So I tried to explain to him. I said, no, it's not, because it just gives you a lower range, lower number. Said, but your accuracy on it is what, plus or minus 5%, something like that. On the low range, it's plus or minus 4%.
Yeah. I actually thought my HANA checker was broke, to be truthfully honest with you, because it constantly was saying 200 every time I. But I guess it does that because it's in the directions. It basically says right here, uh,
Yeah, Ryan,
over
200
range.
is the max on that ultra
Yeah,
low range.
a flashing value of max consumption indicates that the reading is over. Dilute the sample and retest, but it doesn't tell you what to use. But now I know the guy told me to use RODI water.
Yeah. Use RO. You can even dilute it by 75%. You would multiply by 4. You
But how would
follow?
I
So like if you do 50-50, you multiply by 2.
50-50? Yeah.
And then so if you did 75-25, you'd use 25% of your solution, 75% RO water. So what, you put 10 mils in it, right?
I would take out. I would take out. Here's my. Here's my little package. My last one here. I just want to see. K-Town's been.
DM, you add 10 mils, right? It's the little 10 mil tube.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd have to use something more accurate and do 2.5 mils and
I got a
7.5 mils.
Yeah, I can use a syringe. I'm gonna put the whole package in though, and then I would take out so much, right? And then
You'd use. Well, I think you would use the whole packet. You'd have to do
right.
like 25% tank water or 50% tank water, 50% RO water, then put the whole packet in.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it should. Because if you pull out half of the
Or I could do it the way I just did it, and then just take half of this out.
well, yeah, but then you don't have a full packet of test agent in there. I don't know. I mean, if he told you to put the packet in first, do it that way for sure. But let's see.
Indicates over range. Dilute the sample. Yeah, he says dilute the sample. So you do the full sample.
Well, your sample is your tank water.
Well, it's saying right here, over range, a flashing value of the maximum consistent or whatever it is indicates the reading is over range. Dilute the sample and rerun.
Yeah, so you're going to dilute your tank water first.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Do 50% of the water.
Yeah, and then add your packet. That will cut your nitrates, your phosphates in half in the tube. But you still need the full packet in the tube. Fuck. I mean, don't mix it yet. I would pull half the tank water out and put half RO in and try to suck from the top where you don't have all the powder.
Yeah, I think I just fucked up.
Ryan, that high range goes from what? Let's see, high range phosphate and a checker. Oh, 0 to 30. Yeah. That's what I have as the low range. See, I want the Hanna pH tester.
All right, let's see what happens here. All right.
Yeah, yeah. But the Hannah pH tester is a lot cheaper than an Apex is.
So we're testing the first sample first. Do you have a high range one, Ryan? I don't remember. I bought it first before the low range.
That was to my question. I asked him what the range is on it. It's 0 to 30. Sure. 1713.
All right, here we go. We're gonna.
That is low range phosphate.
3. Yeah, I got the low. Yeah, I got the ultra low
Yeah,
range.
you got the ultra low.
Parts per
K-Town's got the low.
See, like here it says, you guys could probably read it where it says 200. Possibly not because it looks backwards to me. I don't know if it's backwards to you guys.
Yeah, it is.
All right, never mind that. We're gonna find out here and see where. Hopefully, this will come up. I don't know. Let's see what happens. Where do you live at, Ryan? Yeah, I bought the alkalinity. I got the phosphorus. And I was thinking about getting like a nitrate one.
They don't make a nitrate, do they?
I thought they. Let me see. Hold on. They got. I got the little. No, they only got nitrite.
Yeah, because they can't. They had trouble with it, I believe, is what O was telling me. Because he's techie. He likes to talk to the people about all this stuff.
Oh yeah. I got the alkalinity. Yeah, I wouldn't. I don't care about nitrites. I mean, I don't have any in my system to be worrying about. I just need
Right.
that. But I should probably get the, like he was saying, Ryan was saying, use that other one.
Mm-hmm. Until you get it back down. I mean, you got to get reagents anyway, so you may as well order your reagents, borrow his, but then you can test it with his, get your number, and then try it with yours and cut that sample in half and see if it works out right. And then you'll know from now on.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
But it should be do half and half tank water, RO water, and then drop the packet in.
That's what I did it the other way before you.
Yeah, we'll see. It may come out. I don't know.
I mean, it's gonna come out.
But it may give you a totally screwed number.
Well, I just want to see it. Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think if you used a full tank water and you did that, that's your full sample. So the
Plus
agent
the reagent.
the agent that's in there, half of that is basically what a full packet would be. And then I dilute that, right? Wouldn't that make sense?
No. You do tank water half, RO water half, and then a full packet of reagent.
Yeah, it didn't work.
What's it giving you? Nothing?
200. So it says 200 there. Now, when I diluted it again and did it, I got to 70. So my stuff is way, I don't know, man. It's way, I think I messed up. I think I needed to do it like you said. Because if I dilute this again, because this is 2, yeah, I mean, I don't know. All I know is I got to get it down. It's
Yeah.
obviously it's way out of whack. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yep.
I mean, if I had half, that's it's way out there. It's up there. I mean, not out there. And the crazy thing is, I'm running so much Phosban right now that it's I'm running over the tank volume for my system. You know what I mean? And it did in 4 days. It turned it yellow. The Foscar.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
That
it
means
was
you have a lot of nitrates if it turns it yellow. I mean phosphates, because mine wasn't even that high. Mine was only like 2.1 when I was running the Phosguard, and it was still white after 8 days.
the only other thing I could think of is that I threw a bunch of Calerpa from my little tank.
And it
In.
died.
Yeah,
That's what it is. Because all of the nitrates and phosphates that were in the Calerpa is now in your big tank.
and I think the Chato choked it out and it just died. You know what I'm saying?
K-Town, no, it's they all have a plus or minus range. So theoretically, if it's 0 on the low range, I'm gonna go from the top to the bottom. If it's 0 on the high range, it can be between 0 and 1. If it's 0 on the low range, it can be between 0 and 0.04. If it's 0 on the ultra low range, it can be from 0 to 5. And then you have to do your math on it. And that's what we argue, or me and O argued about, and I had to sit down and crunch the numbers on it. If you get, all right, so like if you get whatever 100 on your ultra low range, you have plus or minus 5%. Well, by the time you do the math and convert it into phosphates from phosphorus, you're plus or minus 5% still. It's only more a better resolution. So it'll tell you 0.52 instead of 0.5 to 0.6. Yeah, 5 on ULR is 0.015. So if you have the low range and it gives you 0.015, you could really have from 0.011 to 0.019 or 0.09. Oh, 03 plus or minus 0.04. Can y'all hear me still? Ryan, K-Town, can y'all hear me? Okay. I forget there's a little bit of a delay. I don't know what happened to him. Maybe he'll come back. Maybe his phone died or something. I don't know. But it's weird that it still left it open. I'm the only one in the Hangouts right now. DM dropped off. But it left his live stream open, which it usually doesn't do that. Oh, I don't know. If it crashes and y'all want to keep chatting, I'll throw one up. We'll stay in here and see if he comes back. Yeah, and then there's a lot of, if you have ultra low nutrients, nitrates and phosphates, and you don't feed enough, then you have to drop your alkalinity or you'll burn everything, right? Yeah, what's that number called, Ryan? Do you remember? That's it. Redfield ratio, something like that. It's like 17 to 1. It's Redfield. That's it. Redfield ratio, 106 to 16 to 1. The more recent is 117 to 14 to 1. So you're